Happy birthday, Marla.
Thanks.
Happy birthday, Marla.
Happy birthday. Happy Canada Day. Happy Pride Week.
Yeah.
Happy everything.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Okay.
We've got Tamara, messenger here, and Tamara, you really are a messenger. Is that your real last name?
It's my real last name, legally.
Legally.
Absolutely.
Is that the name you were born with?
No, it's not.
Oh, I see.
My last name was Grzebin. Would you like me to spell that?
Yes, I would.
And so after I got divorced, my friends were like, hey, let's find a new name for you, because I wasn't about to go back to Grzebin.
Well, what is your birth last name?
That's Grzebin.
Oh.
Is my birth last name. You like it?
Did you take on your husband's name?
I did when I was married, and when I was divorced, then
What was
I took
his
on
name?
messenger. Pomer.
Say it again.
Pomer.
Pamela? Well, that's easy.
That's easy, but I'm not going to keep the name of a guy I'm divorcing, right? That doesn't
Yeah,
make much
although
sense.
I know some people who do that because
Yeah.
they like the husband's name better than their own.
Yeah, for sure, but it's not my thing. But now it's fine. At
It's
the
messenger.
time,
So that's
I
not
lived
your
in
real
New York.
name.
It is my
So
real
what-
legal name.
When people call
Now,
you, do you turn
real.
around and answer to them because it's
Now,
not your name
Marla,
yet?
what is real? The reality that you choose, or your reality that you're imposed?
Oh,
and
well,
you're
my
born with?
reality is I'm 5'5" and I weigh 110 pounds and I have a small nose. That's my reality.
Yeah.
But when I look in the mirror, I'm shocked.
No, I've got to
shocked
say,
too.
the thing about the name change, I didn't like that at all. And when I did it, I was like, I don't know about that. For me, a messenger was a guy on a bike who holds on to a truck in New York City. That's what they do, right?
Yeah.
So it took me a few years. When I started doing healing work, then it all clicked into place and it started making sense.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. How
Let's
you
talk
came
about
to
healing.
do healing work, because I have a sense that you've got some real powers here. Awesome.
He wears
You've got awesome powers.
and he wears, magic
Oh,
rings.
yeah, these are my rings, my
He's
immortality
into that
rings.
thing.
Cool.
We didn't even talk about them tomorrow, but let's talk about you.
That's
Okay,
right
sure.
now.
Whatever
Yeah.
you want to talk
Go
about.
for
How
it.
did you get
cool.
into this healing? What's your story to become a healer?
My story is, like many people, you need to hit rock bottom so that you can spring back and find your way. So that's what happened. Everything happened all at once. The divorce that I was just talking about, the house that I had lovingly restored, just moved out of. All my friends didn't want to have anything to do with me. The Twin Towers fell. Oh, gee, I so happened I had a tour-based business.
that's
So
right.
that also crashed
Yeah.
alongside with the tour business, the Twin Towers. So I basically lost everything. Plus, I was sick. So I, got everything all at once, and then but from the get-go, even when I was completely suicidal and I was like halfway down, my bed was at the same level as the window, so I started sliding down. I was like, no one's gonna know, and they're gonna
No
be
one's
better
gonna
off
care.
without me, right? No one's gonna care. I thought when I was halfway down, I was like, you know what? If I do go down now, I'm just gonna have to come back and relearn it and redo it all over again.
You
So
mean
I might as well-
reincarnation?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Sure.
that's the thought that came into my head. Even though I never really believed into reincarnation at the time, that's the strong sense I had at the time. So I was like, forget about it. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna totally heal myself, and then I'm gonna be able to take care of others. So that's what happened. Really, that was the turning point, because from that time, I strived to learn and to help others. Yeah. So that's my story.
Okay. And then, so now then you must have adopted or learned certain methodologies that you use today to do your healing work. Can you tell
Yes.
us about those?
Yeah. The methodology that I use gets simpler and simpler as the time goes by. I've been doing this for 8 years now, and it's so simple because, when you hit on a universal truth, it becomes really simple. You know what I'm talking about? Like, all the big, complicated explanations kind of fall away, and you're like, oh, of course, it's self-evident, right? So inside of us, we all have a connection to the divine, to the universal life force, to whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. And it totally transcends religion. It totally transcends any kind of beliefs. I've had nuns, I've had rabbis, I've had a certified atheist. Did you know that there was an atheist association?
I didn't know
in
you could
America?
get certified at that.
Yeah, or something like that. There is like a official, atheist association. I've had non-believers, all kinds of people. They come, they do my workshop, and they're like, of course, because it reconnects with the truth of who you are. And where you're connected to that presence, it's a state of being. And that state of being changes your brain waves. And with that brain waves change, you can alter reality. Reality becomes malleable.
That's really
It's
woo-woo,
very, very cool.
as Marla
very
would say.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, okay. Can you tell us? Can you show
Yes.
people? Some people find it difficult to really get that reality is malleable, and
Okay.
that you can change. You know that when you get to that mind state, that things really are. You really can shape your reality, right? Can you tell us? Can you give us a convincing evidence or a story or something?
Well, human
About that?
intervention. Is that what
What?
you're talking about? Human
No.
intervention affects your reality.
Yes, but I'm thinking of a very simple, very simple example. I was like, what is a really simple, basic example that everyone could relate to? Okay, I go to France about once a year to see my family. I go to Paris, So I had starting what we call working on ourselves, which is really not work at all. It's just noticing what's dysfunctional, noticing what creates pain in yourself or others, and opening up to that light, to that energy, and not reprogramming yourself, because you don't want to have no more programming, right? You don't want to have another program that tells you what to do. What you want is infinity instead. You want to have light, you want to have love, right? So I had started that process. I go back to France, and something very strange happens. Everybody is nice. Have you ever been to Paris?
Yes.
Yes.
Are people nice there?
Yeah,
No.
I found they were nice.
Well, okay.
Not
So,
me.
Marla, they were not nice. Not
No.
really. They're not like the most jovial people on earth, right?
I'm honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's be
No,
honest.
I'm honest too.
No, you're
Yeah.
not.
No, I had a good.
No,
I
no,
changed my
sometimes-
reality.
No.
Exactly. And you know what? Everybody was super nice to me. They were giving me samples, they were smiling, they were joking. And I was like, this is weird. I asked one of my sisters, is there like this special campaign to be nice to tourists or something? Because now I have a little bit of an English accent when I speak French. They're like, no, what are you talking about? Second sister, I'm like, is there a special something? They're like, no. But it continued for the whole time I was there for a few weeks. Everybody was super nice. So I go back to my home in the States at the time, and I tell my friends, and they all laughed at me, and I'm like, what? They're like, Tamara, don't you get it? I'm like, no, Tamara, you've changed. You've become nice. So therefore, people react differently to you, right? And in our abrupt way of being, which is very, East Coast, doesn't fly at all in France. You have to be super polite. You have to blah, blah, blah. But somehow, I knew all those rules of politeness, but somehow my way of being had changed, and everybody else around me changed. So that's very basic. I think that's an example everybody can relate to. It's not woo-woo. It's just about changing the way you interact with people from the inside out, from how you feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's like I have a friend who says when you go into a restaurant, before you order, always say hi to the waiter. How are you today?
Yes, but
Oh,
then
what's your
again-
name? Jack. Hi. We'd like to order, and then you hope that they don't spit in your food. It's
Yes,
a technique.
but wait.
It's a
No.
psychological
If you
technique.
if you do it like that, hi.
No. They're good
then
actors.
it's called the SOS people. You know what the SOS people? Oh,
No.
sugar over shit.
Oh, you said the S word again.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I
you're
did
gonna
not.
punish her the way you punish
That's okay.
me.
She did it earlier. At least you didn't
Sugar
use.
over.
We know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You can
know
say it
what
in
I mean.
French.
It's like no,
Marriage.
you can't. It doesn't work. SOS.
Oh yeah.
Their soul is crying out for help under
That's-
the facade of politeness.
I hate that kind of overture of politeness. I can smell it a mile away. But
Exactly.
I see it with my friend who does this technique, and it wins them over every time. When I
Fine.
was a waiter, I used to hate it.
Okay.
But go on.
I want to get back into this. Okay, so like for
Yeah.
example, Tamara, I want to know. So this is what you do.
Yes.
This is your business. This is what your
Yes.
profession.
Can you make
right?
him
You help.
nicer to me?
Yes.
Good.
Actually,
Tell
it
him to
works.
stop talking bombs and
It actually
and
works
equating
awesome.
homosexual human rights to dogs dating.
It works awesome at resolving.
Just drink some more
interpersonal
wine there, Marley. You'll
conflicts.
be fine.
Yes.
You're
so you
on.
were saying
You're on.
it It works awesome at resolving interpersonal conflicts. And conflicts of
Oh,
any
I'm
kind.
sure.
Whether they're legal conflicts or whether they're
co-hosting
just
conflicts.
co-hosting or boss or spouse or children that drive you crazy. It works awesome.
How?
You don't even have to work on the other person. That's the awesome
I
thing.
have seen parents say, "All right, sweetie, I'm glad you expressed your feelings and honoring your emotions." And I'm like, "Shut up and get downstairs." And the kid gets so empowered.
Okay, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. Not exactly. But it works as well. Just, take a baseball bat or something. No, what I'm talking about is if someone bugs you, right? Then instead of saying, you are blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
and you are doing this to
Yeah.
me, or when you do this, I feel this and this, the
Right.
non-violent way of talking.
Yes, I know
when
that.
you feel this, I feel this.
Yes, yes.
It's like, okay, still blaming them for the way you feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of that, what I do on myself immediately and what I do with others, in phone sessions, is like, okay, when this person acts like that, how do you feel inside? And then you start the process of tracking the feeling, not the story, not the emotion, just the gut feeling. Where is it? It's a very fast process, just a few minutes usually. And then when you've identified the root pattern that creates the feeling, which is the pattern that is stuck in there, which is very usually either a familial pattern, like in your DNA, or it's a soul pattern, or it's like a survival pattern, the fight, flight, paralysis kind of thing. You bring in that new energy, that infinite, and beam.
Yeah, okay. So I know Marla's probably going,
She's
this
like,
is all
what?
too
I've already
woo-woo.
got an example
But wait,
for you.
you have-
but wait.
oh, you have
Oh,
an
you got an
example.
example?
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's like, people, and I don't know, Marla, if you've experienced this, but I've experienced, and probably everybody has this, because people have that programming, whether you want to call it DNA programming or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's their approach to the life,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
It's
and you
the
can
way
change that.
It's the way that they approach life, and so you find people, and they're always there's always going to be some kind of pattern. Either they're always unlucky, or they're always lucky. Maybe somebody who's always lucky. But I mean, let's talk about the ones that are problems, right? It's not a problem if you're always lucky, but if you're always unlucky, or if your relationships always end in the same way, or you're always attracting the same kind of people that are causing you problems. These kind of things, right? The same kind of issues that keep coming up over and over again. This is what you're talking about breaking, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'd like to have a phone
Yes,
session
sir.
with
It
you.
is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's
Absolutely.
interesting.
And much more.
And
And much more.
And
Tell
much
us about
more.
that. What do you mean?
Because, okay, it's great to break the patterns. It's awesome, right? We all want that. We all want a little bit of personal freedom. But that just gets you out of misery. Doesn't get
Right.
you
To
into
joy.
well-being, and full happiness.
Yeah.
So how do you make that,
Yeah, how?
jump?
Yeah.
Well, you start opening up more and more to your infinite self. And when you do that, and you can actually bring in new feelings that you never had before because you never experienced them. So you're like, hey, you know what? I actually don't know what joy feels like. Let's download. Now, one day, okay, this is a funny story. One day I'm doing this on myself about joy. A few years ago, I'm like, you know what? I don't exactly know what joy is. I had been depressed quite severely all my life. My family has a history of depression. I just didn't know. So I started doing, a few downloads, having fun. About a couple of days later, I received a phone call from my mom in France, and you're like, Tamara, you'd be so proud of me. I discovered I didn't know how to have joy in my life. My jaw drops.
Because you were working on it for
I
yourself.
Yes.
And then
but
your mom
I had
got it.
changed, exactly, because I had changed some familial patterns. That was so cool.
Wow.
And I verified it because my niece knows how to do this work.
Yeah.
And so we found some familial patterns, and she changed them in herself and just herself, and it transformed in me as well. So that was pretty cool.
Okay.
can I try my story?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
There was a friend of a friend who was at social gatherings. She always made fun of my height in a very cruel way
Because you're so tall.
because I'm so not. And I'm sensitive about my height, but I've had very tall friends and they've never mentioned it, so I never thought of myself as short until I met this girl who is 2 inches taller than me, or 3 inches taller, and that's always it. I have 6-foot friends. They never bring it up because they don't think of me as short. Anyways, it would be a year, 2 years of every time we got together as a group, harassment, to the point where if we were at a party, I'd be talking to somebody else, she'd come up to me, lift up my pant leg and say, look, everybody, she's wearing heels and she's still this short. It would be relentless. So
Oh, that's horrible.
I have pulled her aside
Yeah.
several times, and each time I said to her, look, it really hurts my feelings when you make fun of my height. I'm telling you this. I hope you're hearing what I'm saying. I'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't do it anymore. And it never stopped for 2 years. And I went home feeling bad.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to tell me on how to handle that and how I should feel?
Okay. There's no should feel, first of all. There's no feeling that is better than another, right? Because otherwise, if we say this feeling is bad and this feeling is good, we go right back into duality. It's just a question of preference. If you're tired of feeling that way, then what we can do is we can track that feeling in you and transmute it so that it dissolves the root cause of that reaction and of that feeling. Now, you ready for this?
Yep.
And it's not a guarantee, of course, but what I've observed over and over and over again, when you have totally transmuted that root cause of that feeling that makes you feel bad every time she does that, guess what? It's not going to be fun for her to do it anymore. She's going to forget about it.
Yeah.
She's not going to do it anymore.
Uh-huh.
But I don't always respond.
No,
No,
no.
but still.
You respond energetically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
That plugs
No,
in
I-
nicely.
that
I
is
sometimes
right.
ignore her. I don't even
No,
She's
because
right.
to her. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not even on the same part
I
of the
understand.
room.
I understand. However, there's an undertow. There's an undertow
You feel
current
that even
of
though
a
I'm not looking at her, I'm talking to
Right.
somebody else for 2 hours.
Exactly.
I
energetic.
go home to my car. I don't
We
even think.
communicate non-verbally in so
So
many
whether
ways.
it feels like it's a win. If I talk to her, I'm wrong. If I don't talk to her, I'm still transmitting the negative energy. I
But you
don't
know what? It doesn't matter. Really, the scientific explanation
Okay.
doesn't really matter. What matters is that we've observed that if we let go of the root cause of that pattern that creates the feeling, all of a sudden the world responds in another way, and those people respond in another way. I
Yes.
have an example for
I
myself.
don't know. She
I
I
hasn't
don't know if I
stopped.
should tell you
I've
because
cut her out
Yes.
of my life since
no,
then.
no,
Why
because
not?
I have the same example. Would
Yeah.
you like me to
But
Yeah, yes,
nothing
please.
share it
worked
with you?
with
Yes.
her.
Yes?
Go on.
Okay, it so happened that I'm not 5 feet tall, but I have size 11 shoes. And in France, size 11 shoes means you're a complete freak. You don't have size 11 shoes in France. And even, I went to like tall girl shoe, and he was like, you wear size 11? I'm like, excuse me, isn't that your specialty in this store? Right? So I was like, you know what? I'm fed up of this. I'm going to transform myself. So I did. So I looked at the root pattern that was creating the reaction that I didn't like about, people commenting on my feet over and over and over again. Oh, wow, you have big feet, blah, 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 blah. You know what? Now, I think I went a little overboard because people are like, no, you don't have size 11 feet. No, try those shoes. They must be like 9 or 10. I'm like, excuse me, I know my size. Because no one comments on my feet.
That's so wild.
No one.
Boy, the world is a weird
It's very
place.
funny,
We
I
do
wanna
not
know,
even understand.
Are you playing
it.
footsie with me right now? Because I'm. Yeah. That's just a joke.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to run that by the joke approval
Well,
committee.
I would say, because actually people say, because I wear a size 7, people go, that's pretty big for such a short person. I said, I'm very grounded.
That's because you got a lot of problems.
Exactly.
I have a large foundation. Here he goes again.
Okay.
So then we have a choice. Either he wants to let go of it or you want to let go of it. You see what I mean? You can do either way. And either way, either you let go of your reaction to his ting, 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 or he says, hey, you know what, I'm tired of it. And he does it. Either way, it's going to stop just one person. You don't need the two.
okay.
That's the
I
beautiful
don't think
thing.
so, no,
Wait,
because
wait.
that's what happened to the girl. I
I
ignored
know.
her, and
Okay.
she
It's
just
not
kept
her and me.
going.
We get along
Okay,
Go
fine.
on.
We're
I
just
have
joking
I
around,
have
but-
an offer to you. Okay?
Yeah.
After this show, another time we'll do a session.
Yep.
We'll resolve those pesky little
Okay, fine.
nagging things,
Just give
and
me
then
your
we'll
card.
come back and we'll
then,
have a
fine,
feedback. How's that?
fine. And you
Fine.
better get
I
her
love her
promo
where she
information.
is fine. Like I
Yeah,
totally don't
exactly.
believe you.
No,
I
no,
love it.
fine.
Yeah,
I'm open to
Oh,
trying.
okay.
You should
Oh,
see I'm
good.
on my third appointment of osteopathy. empathy. I don't
thingy.
believe in that stuff,
No.
but I'm willing to try.
Okay,
because
That's
I
cool.
still have pain that the other conventional methods didn't cure.
And you know what? I much
I'm being
prefer that
serious.
actually. I much prefer people who are skeptical
Yeah.
Yeah.
than people who are completely,
Exactly.
you know, like.
but I'm
Believe in
willing to
everything.
try.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
yeah.
because they saw it
Totally
on
gullible.
I'm just not easily swayed. You should want that, actually.
Yeah, she does.
It's good.
Fine.
Hey,
well,
Tamara.
I'll let you know.
Yes. Hugh.
As my
What?
chemotherapy doctor said, it's a walk in the park. I said, I'll let you know.
You know, I'm just fascinated with what you're doing because it sounds like you really know what you're doing, and it's like, you know, you can start learning all these methodologies, but you've found through your experience that all the methodology it gets simpler and simpler as you get
Yeah.
closer and closer to really knowing what you're doing here, right?
Yeah.
And we know we've heard that expression, you know, be the change you want to see in the see in the world, right?
That's
And-
exactly it.
And I hope you
Yeah.
start really soon.
I know. I need help. I need
Really
help,
soon.
Marla. Tamara, can you give me some help on this? Because I got some problems too.
You guys are very cute together.
all her
I've gotta
fault.
I
say.
think so.
It's
I
her.
think
She
so.
did it. But you know, I'll tell you what my problem is, and I want to ask you about this too.
But the show's
because
over. We
you're
don't have
saying-
another hour.
You're saying that this stuff transcends what?
I said, but the show's over. We don't have another hour to hear about your problems. And it would take an
You're
hour
so
at
funny,
least.
Marla.
Okay.
Okay. Thankfully, we have a lot more wine in the fridge.
You're pretending to drink coffee, but really it's wine.
No, it's coffee.
Okay.
I'm just drinking. I hate waste. Marla was going to
Absolutely.
throw out the red wine. I just am making sure
Absolutely,
it's not going
he's
to waste.
making a good action. So, what's your question?
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Tamara.
Back
okay.
to you.
Focusing.
So, be the change you want to see in the world, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to say, harder to do.
Totally.
Also, you think you do that. I mean, most people, they think about doing that, and they think, you know what, I could change all I want, but the other people aren't going to change.
Yep.
And all it takes is one bad apple
That's
to
right.
spoil the whole bunch.
That's
Really?
right.
Girl. Right?
That's the problem.
So,
No.
but what you're saying is that you do change yourself. You will change everything, right?
Yes.
Now,
I say that.
you say that?
I do.
Okay, and you're saying it transcends religion. Now,
Yes.
we've got, to me, I look around, we got a big problem in this world,
Yes.
right? We got 7 billion people on the planet. We've got nuclear bombs that can destroy all of civilization. We've got terrorists running amok
got
and governments that we
radiation
can't
leaks.
trust.
Okay.
You know?
So, what do we do with all of
What
this?
do we do with all
What's your
that?
point?
Okay.
Yeah, and 2012 is just around the corner.
Oh, here
Well,
we
yeah,
go.
it's already started, by the way. So
I don't know
you
what started or how's it going to finish, but I'd love to
But
know.
you know what? Okay, here's what we do. We call on all people of goodwill who are ready to take 100% responsibility for what's going on in their world now. And those people have a chance to re-own their part of responsibility in what's going on. Okay, so there's a government you can't trust. How does that make you feel? Where do you feel it? Track the root pattern. Whatever it is, it's, some patterns of being controlled, some patterns of whatever, it doesn't matter. We don't even need to know what it is. That's the beautiful thing. We don't need to do a lot of analysis. And we bring in more and more. We're basically like trees. Trees, their job is to anchor light, to bring light into the world. That's what our role is. Those people of goodwill who are ready to take the challenge, that's what we're here for. We're bringing in more and more light. If enough people do it, in theory, actually, it only takes one person. If you really do it thoroughly, then your world would change. Why not? Why not? The physicists talk about parallel universe.
I know.
It's out there, so it's possible. I like to work with groups, so I like to work with, several people.
Yeah.
We all do it. We all let go of the fear. We all let go of the control. We all let go of the anger, the rage, the whatever else it is, the poor me syndrome. And then, hey, you know what? It's going to affect everyone else because our positive vibration counteract and neutralize the negative vibes of many, many, many people around us. I've seen it happen many times in my life. Just showing up and the person calms down immediately. And it's proven, actually. They've done, meditations on peace in certain war areas, and all of a sudden it calms down.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
How about something like Fukushima?
Yes.
The nuclear disaster
Yes.
that's threatening all of us with radioactivity that's spreading all
Right.
around the world. How do you deal with that one, Tamara?
The same way. And I would say, okay, you can actually use that state of presence or connection to, they've done experiments in Princeton, and they've done experiments where people focused on, nuclear particles and had the counters go down, something that it never does. So I'm thinking if we have enough people, because, when we're all connected individually and we all do it together, then our rays of light merge and do it, we do it together. So that power is synergetic. It's so much more. So sure, we can do it. Now, knowing that we can do it and actually doing it right now is two different things, just because we are at the starting point of doing this work. I consider the past 8 years just apprenticeship, We're just learning. Now I see the people, I'm teaching them how to do it, and they're like so much faster than I am because, woof, they just got it. We opened up the roads for them, right? So I'm thinking that it is totally possible, and I actually think that we've transcended a lot of catastrophes that could have happened to us.
For sure. I mean, I can't believe we're 60 years after the atom bomb and we're all still here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I actually think that we are, there's still a great degree of probability that, things could go haywire, but we're working so much for things to go well and to go towards harmony and to go towards love that I think if we just be relentless, why not?
All right.
So that's why I'm inviting more people to do it.
Fantastic. And I wish we had more time because this is fascinating. But I understand you're moving to Quebec.
Yes, but not right now. And I'll be back in Toronto on a regular basis. I'm actually planning to do a workshop in Toronto late summer. So, because people are asking me to learn this stuff, so I'm like, sure.
I would like to follow up with you.
Okay, very good.
I have a really good vibe from you, Tamara. And thanks for coming in today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
And you're moving to Quebec. The good thing about that?
Yes.
Really cheap auto insurance. So you are so fortunate to be moving to that province.
And you get to buy alcohol in the regular stores and bring your own bottle to restaurants.
Yes, but I'm naturally high on life. I actually don't drink alcohol.
Oh, yeah. So, Tamara, listen, if people want to get in touch and follow up with you about this, do you have a website or something?
I have a website, and it is, oh my God, it is tamaramessenger.com. How convenient. It's my name.
Wow.
Tamara is spelled Tamara, and messenger is like a messenger, Messenger. So tamaramessenger.com. And I have 2 phone numbers to make it easy.
Sure.
Because I know people watch over, a little bit everywhere, right? So I have a U.S. phone number, and that's 716-462-6556. The number again is 716-462-6556.
Is that a Buffalo number?
Yes, it is a Buffalo number.
Buffalo's a fantastic city.
I've watched a lot of commercials, and they always repeat the numbers, so I thought I would do the same.
Perfect.
And then the Canadian number is a Toronto number, and it's 647-477-3895. The number again is 647-477-3895. And don't worry if you don't have unlimited long distance, because I do. So we set up a time for an appointment, and I call back.
Great.
And the offer I give to your listeners and viewers is that the first 10 people will get a pay what you can session. For one thing, my sessions are always guaranteed. If you don't like them, you don't pay them. Because, some people are like, whoa, this is weird. I don't know what this is. This is so new. It is so new. And I'm fine with it. I'm like, sure, I guarantee my work because I know it's cool.
Do you take credit cards?
That's awesome.
I do, yeah. Credit cards.
You take it over the
Okay.
phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Tamara, thanks for coming in today.
You're welcome.
We'll have
my
to,
pleasure.
when you come into Toronto, we'd love to have you back. So
With great pleasure.
Let's do that again sometime.
Yeah.
So that's the show, Marla.
Oh, it was a great show.
It was great. We got no time, so we're just going to say goodbye, okay?
Okay.
All right, so bye, everybody. We'll see you. Actually, have a happy Canada Day. We're not going to be here tomorrow. We'll play a repeat or something. We're
Oh,
going to
yeah?
be
You're not
busy.
going to be here?
No, I'll
Okay.
be here, but not doing a show. So
Okay.
have a great long weekend, everybody, and we'll see you Monday. Cameras? Thanks. We'll see everybody on Monday, right here on ThatChannel.com.
And
See you
happy
then.
birthday, Marla.
And happy
And
birthday,
happy
Marla.
birthday, Marla. Woo!
More booze?
No.
jumped on that old Greyhound. It's gonna take me somewhere new. As far away as heaven, but much more closer to you. So when those church bell chimes